Barbados' Prime Minister sends a strong warning to criminals, and in sport, Jamaica TALLAWAHS and Trinbago Knight Riders' winning streak in the Hero Caribbean Premier League. I'm Dawn Paris, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, August 10th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
Barbados' Prime Minister STUART is sending a warning to criminals that his government will not allow them to take over the country. His comment follows the shooting death of a 20-year-old man at the climax of the Cropover Festival on Monday. The Prime Minister raised concern about the rising gun violence and called on every level of society to address the issue.
The battle is on for the very survival of Barbados as we have known it. We can't fight this battle if we are paralyzed by fear. We cannot win this battle if we believe that indifference is the best response to it. We don't want a society in which our young people are more familiar with the sound of gunfire than they are with the sound of an orchestra. We have to strengthen our policing, and of course our courts have to send very strong signals that as the guardians of the values of our society, they're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior.
STUART says gun crime has worsened over the past 30 years, and he says the underworld justice system must be eliminated.
The mainstream justice system, beset by complaints about delays, about adjournments, about the amount of time it takes to get decisions, and that kind of thing. And there is the underworld justice system, in which there is no scope for delay. There is no scope for adjournment of any kind. Once guilt is established, justice is swiftly and ruthlessly dispensed. And the question that we will ultimately have to ask ourselves is whether we can continue to have two justice systems running in our society. I think most Barbadians still believe that our mainstream justice system is to be preferred, even though they think that it needs to be markedly improved and needs to be more responsive to their needs.
Over in Jamaica, while government and the opposition are condemning the murder of a 17-year-old girl, residents in her community are angry over the reason being given for the killing. Reports say the teen was shot in the head for reportedly refusing the sexual advances of some men in her community. We get more in this TVJ News report.
Kind of tragedy the Prime Minister thought needed his intervention, and the Zimbabwe community welcomed his presence. The Prime Minister spent some time speaking to the mother inside her house. She did not want to appear on camera at all. But while the Prime Minister, the PNP candidate for the area, Mark Golding, and the council spoke with the mother inside the house, community members were outside fuming.
We're upset with you, lady, you need to fix this. You need to talk to us and let us know what is going on. You know what is going on. Let us know what is going on.
They're upset about the story that's surfacing in the media that the teens were shot by men from the community who were refused sexual favors. Rashida Edmond went further in the effort to prove that men from the community were not to be blamed.
I live alone. I live alone. Me know me look good, so obviously, I live alone. Why them never kick off my door yet? Why them never kick off my door yet? So I don't understand what is going on right now. Because as far as I'm concerned, the observer said that the door is kicked off. If you turn the camera over there, there's no door that is kicked off. The door is open from outside, so it cannot be kicked off. The window was not broken.
Her claim was backed up by a man from the community who believes the real story is yet to be told.
No rape for them things that used to go on back then. Them things are stopped in this community. You hear that we not deal with rape. I love and unity and oneness we say.
While residents say they're saddened by the killing of the teen and the injury of her sister, the focus is now on protecting the reputation of the area.
Stay with us. Your midday sport is next.
You know, when I won Miss Jamaica, it was such a different time. There was just a lot less, perhaps, pressure and communication and social media. I find now the girls are under so much pressure to look beautiful, to be people that sometimes they're not, and they're not as comfortable in their skin. I would say to the girls today, just be yourself, be comfortable. You don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to filter who you are.
Never give up me roots, now me culture. Now keep up African roots, now me culture. Get me ratings. Him give I the power to do great things. Wicked heart a tremble when them hear him.
Them bow down and stand their toes. Stand their toes, stand their toes. The lions them bow down and stand their toes.
Jamaica TALLAWAHS defeated Trinbago Knight Riders by 4 wickets in the 7th match of the CPL tournament last night. The victory for TALLAWAHS at Queen's Park Oval brought an end to the Knight Riders' winning streak. After the Knight Riders had been sent into bat, a sensational opening half of the innings saw them race to 109 for 2 after just 9.5 overs. But a brilliant bowling recovery from the TALLAWAHS instigated a dramatic batting collapse for the Knight Riders, who scored just 38 from the next 10 overs and were bowled out with just 1 ball to spare. TALLAWAHS then managed a tight run chase, edging to the target with 4 balls left. The Hero CPL continues tonight with Barbados Tridents facing hosts St. Lucia Stars at 8 o'clock in Grosile. Olympic champion Shawnee Miller-Weibo of the Bahamas suffered a dramatic defeat in the women's 400 meters final at the IAAF World Championships yesterday. Miller-Weibo, the heavy favorite going into the race, dominated the early phase of the race. She ran out of lane 7 and she stormed down the backstretch and ran a superb curve before coming into the stretch 5 meters in front. She seemed to have the race wrapped up when she suddenly pulled up and stumbled before crossing the line, finishing 4th in 50.49 seconds. Her demise was to the advantage of American Phyllis Francis, who took victory in a personal best 49.92 seconds, ahead of Bahrain's Salwa Eid Manassir in 50.06 seconds. American Alison Felix was 3rd in 50.08 seconds. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us this evening at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.